Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Survivors Complex. Thank you for joining us here for our 50th episode of this brief campaign. We are missing a few people today, but we are going to carry on just the same. Thank you for joining us for this milestone achievement of ours. So I'm going to go ahead and get through announcements as quickly as possible so we can get into the game and see what's going on in Bjornheim. So we have our giveaway still going on strong. If you haven't had a chance to enter in it yet, make sure that you do that soon. I think we'll be running it for about 2.5-3 more weeks until we'll be doing our drawing, giving away a couple of prizes at this point. I think we're actually creeping up slowly. We're still a little ways off from the next milestone goal. It's going to be 200 Twitch followers. We could hit that. Hopefully, going to cross my fingers and hope that we do. We'll be giving away some additional dice if we do hit that goal, some Wild Space themed dice. But we are going to be giving away some stickers as part of the giveaway. And I don't have any non-used, but I do have one on the back of my phone here, which we are not sponsored by Apple, so ignore that. But
we are sponsored by Ice Cold Coors Light, though.
We are. As usual, thank you, Coors Light, for your continued patronage of this game. I don't have the promo for it, Dylan. You need to get the copy for the next week's episode.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, it's been a great stream. Thank you for joining us.
We, as usual, had a lot of great games this week. If you missed any of them, we had Wild Space and last week's Survivors Complex, Apocrypha and last week's Survivors Complex are up on YouTube right now. Tidefall was on Thursday, and that will be going up on YouTube this Wednesday, so make sure you check that out. We will have, obviously, Survivors Complex today, shortly, and we will have Wild Space on Monday. So a lot of great games going on, and more to follow, so stay tuned for that. Keep up with all those on our Twitter, as well as our schedule below here on Twitch. I think that's about it. I don't think we have anything else going on that I need to plug, give away, streams. Yeah, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. So previously on Survivors Complex, your crew had arrived in the city of Bjornheim, a kingdom of bears at the center of this region known as the Feywilds. You had made your way to the city with the help of a patron or a kindly fey creature that introduced himself as Iagla. You had traveled with him on his caravan or his traveling zoo or circus to the city in time for the Carnival of the Bear King. It was as you arrived that Iago asked for some help in identifying one of the creatures that he had captured in his most recent excursion, learning that in one of the wagons towards the back, in a cage, he had a freeman in there. You were able to repair your robotic friend, and he joined you, relaying a little bit of information about your crew, how they had been captured, how they had been taken to the Ember Citadel, where Freeman had been able to escape with the help of Holly, and made his way, after being attacked by giants, to meet up with the rest of you and hopefully help you to save the rest of the crew. After this reunion, you entered into the city seeking out Star's father, Ice, who had promised to rendezvous with you here. You met Ice in his tent, where he gave you some information, told you a little bit about the circumstances here, a little bit of the history of the Feywild and his relationship to it, later revealing more to Star on his origins within the Twilight Realms. You learn from him that to stand any chance at escaping this place, you would need to either ally yourselves with or defeat either the Queen of Night and Magic or the Queen of Witches, the two powers that reign over this region. You, not really having a clear direction at that point, also learned that some of the powers of these Fae, that here they gain a certain measure of immortality, and can only be harmed with special weapons made from cold wrought iron. You were able to discuss that a bit with Star's father. He offered some advice to gain some favor of some other neutral Fae entities, such as the Bear King. And as such, you decided to enter into the carnival, into the competitions that would ensue. And so you did take place in many of these contests. Freeman handily winning a honey bun eating contest, Tova winning a tree climbing contest or a sprinting contest, as it turned out for her, and Den winning a wrestling contest, and then following it up by challenging the Bear King himself, and handily winning this test of skill thanks to some clever planning and assistance from your party and some very, very bad rolling from the Bear King.
Or some very, very good rolling from me.
Yeah, I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Either way, it really worked in your guys' favor, and you were able to just trounce the Bear King. And that is where we ended our session. As the light of this perpetual sunless sky in this Twilight Realm, there's a silence that has overtaken the crowd at the handy victory of Den against the Bear King. The lumbering, gigantic bear form of the king, with shaggy brown fur, lumbers up to the entrance of the long hall that towers in the center of this sprawling rustic city. And he turns back over his shoulder and says, "Follow." And turns and begins continuing to lumber into the long hall, into the dark, into the dim, dark interior.
I follow him, but I'm looking at everybody else like, come on.
You guys go with her?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Freeman and Lucius follow along behind. Freeman kind of like making weird clicking noises as he moves, with still the honey kind of sticking his internal mechanisms and gears, but following along behind. You enter the long hall and walk its length down to the throne that sits on the far side. A number of these bear guards, these grizzlies wearing armor, carrying halberds and spears and other big weapons, flanking the interior of the hall, as the Bear King in his bear form lumber up onto the platform and then to sit down into the chair, which is now much smaller by comparison. And as the gigantic fur-covered bear rests, it slowly begins to morph down once again into the shape of the Fey Bear King himself, still an imposing and large figure. As you approach and he kind of waves you forward towards the platform, and as you approach, calls out, says,
None have bested me as you have here today. Not in some time. Who are you, travelers?
Well, Your Highness, we're called Gale Force. We're from Sarthia. Pretty far away, I think. And, we've come for your aid.
He shifts in his chair and he looks down and says,
And what would you require aid in doing?
We've got some beef with the Queens.
The Bear King shifts again and looks around. You see the other grizzly guards to the sides, kind of shifting there, maintaining their stoic disposition. Hard to read, given that they are bears. But there's this uncomfortable shifting to the room. And he says,
Why would travelers from beyond our realms come here seeking to upset this balance that we have?
We didn't. That witch queen brought us here. And we'd very much like to get our people and go home.
So you were taken here.
Yes.
And what makes you think anything would go differently if you were to face the Queen again?
We've got some ideas. We know that not a lot of people here are big fans of how either of them run things. And with your help, we might be able to do each other a lot of good.
He rests back, reaches to this, kind of reaches out his hand, and as he does, one of the bears very quickly comes over with a tray with a large tankard of ale or a mead on top of it, almost anticipating their king's wishes, and he grabs onto the tankard and takes a large gulp out of it. There's a bit of silence in the room at that point, and puts it down. Says,
Is this the favor you ask of me, then, for your victory, my assistance in your foolhardy quest?
What we're asking for is help getting our people and getting home. And with you on our side, we might be able to leave this place better than we found it.
And how am I to know that this isn't some plot or trick? Some plan by one or the other to gain my aid and finally putting an end to this stalemate?
I guess you don't. But you don't really strike me as a coward.
There's a simpleness to your words. Makes me believe them.
That's not the first time people have told me that.
Very well. I can offer what knowledge I have in aiding your quest, but I fear you might not have the tools needed to take on such an endeavor.
Do you mean actual tools, or do you mean I'm not smart enough?
He has a sort of a big grin crosses his face, and he says,
Perhaps both.
Fair.
I assume if you come to me that you are aware that of our powers. Speak plainly and tell me what it is you need.
This is where the extent of my knowledge sort of runs out. We know we can't kill her.
Yeah, we need a way to fight or defend ourselves against these queens.
And we need a way to put them in the ground. More permanently.
And I assume that you're asking if I have any knowledge regarding creating weapons that can kill one of my kind.
Yeah.
And you think if I had this knowledge, I would give it to you, so that you might turn and kill me as well?
I got no problem with you. You done nothing to wrong me. Yet.
Very well then. You've all impressed me, you and your force of Gale.
I like it. Sounds cool like that.
Perhaps we can work out an arrangement then. I'll tell you plainly, if you're asking me for weapons that can kill my kind, if you're asking for the secret of iron forging that would allow you to do so, I do not have this information. But I can point you in the right direction.
That would be most helpful.
If your favor is to ask me for this knowledge and my assistance, I can give you so. But that is a bit beyond the terms of my offer for besting me in combat. So I would ask for you a favor in kind.
And that is...
Well, two things. One, every month when we conclude the festivities, the Queen of Night Magic sends one of her escort, one of her entourage here to demand my fealty. They stand at my gates, offering insults upon my domain, and lay waste to a quarter of my fields with fire. Now, I do not wish to open my gates and begin outright conflict once again, so I suffer these insults, knowing that we can rebuild what is lost. However, if I am to join you in this, I would very much like to do away with this practice. So if strangers, outsiders from our land, were to intervene in this ritual, in this pageantry, perhaps I'd know you ally then after all.
I think that can be arranged.
Excellent. If you do so, then I will offer you the knowledge that you need. The second part of this payment for the use and alliance of my forces to accompany you in your efforts. I am impressed by that one there.
He motions towards Freeman.
I understand you have desires of returning home, I would imagine, but if that one would stay here for a time, I believe we could learn much. Perhaps in bolstering my own forces.
That's not my decision to make.
Freeman sort of turns to you, turns to the group and says,
I guess so. You're not going to leave me here, though, right? I was hoping to fight something. But all right, I guess I'll stay here then.
Bear King nods and says,
Good. And we have an arrangement. So, I'll give you the knowledge that you're asking for once you've dealt with this problem. I'm sure they should be here in due time.
All right.
Until then, I suppose you are worthy of some small reward for your victories.
and he waves a hand, and a few of the bears come out from behind the throne and from one of the hallways that leads down to the catacombs beneath. And one of them has a small, or not really small, a fairly large box of some sort that looks heavily decorated and ornate, and walks it up to your group and places it on the ground before you.
He says, a magical trinket to reward you for your victories.
At that point, he takes a hefty drink again and looks back towards the rest of you, kind of with this "you can leave now" sort of expression on his face.
Sean, do I get the feeling that he's honest and he says that he has the information, will actually give it to us?
Make an insight check.
Okay.
So you've witnessed enough in this conversation to do so.
Yeah. 22?
22. Yeah, I think you do get the impression from listening to him that he is being forthright and forthcoming with his information, wanting some sort of display of your honesty and your integrity at this point. So he's definitely withholding some things at this juncture, but everything he said so far seems to check out.
Okay.
With that, you guys take your prize, and you are escorted out of the long hall back to the festivities once again, which are coming to a close. You can see there's still some pageantry and some fire dancing and bears juggling, and people still kind of enjoying the later bits of this festival that is sort of winding down as people are drunkenly in most making their way away from these fairgrounds.
Well, I guess we gotta figure out how we're gonna do this.
Yeah, I mean, we've got until the festival closes. And this is the first day of the carnival or festival, right?
Yeah, I mean this has been the whole festival. I mean, it's typically a day-long event that takes place once a month. So you get the impression that whatever's going to happen is probably going to happen pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay.
So do we want to just like scare them off?
Yeah, I mean, whatever we have to do to get them to stop.
I guess we go wait for them then.
Can we maybe like grab like somebody who seems like a farmhand or something like that and ask them?
Sure. You going for a humanoid or a bear-anoid or
a people?
a people?
People, please.
Yeah. So there is a. Most people that are celebrating here, and kind of a lot of them are locals, and you see some humans and dwarves that are making their way out in a small group, and there's a probably late 30s human man, looks like probably works here, is still probably pretty well into his cups at this point, and swaying a bit as he makes his way past. Shaved head, simple clothes, and you kind of get his attention or grab him by the shoulder, and he wheels around, staggering a bit, says, yes?
Just a quick question for you. Where does the envoy of the Queen of Night and Magic, where do they usually show up? Do you know? We heard it's a thing that's part of this festival, and I'm curious.
Typically stay within the walls and don't. Nobody really watches any of that. They kind of looks around, says, they usually come from that side, and he kind of points over to what would equate to like the western edge of town, and says, that's usually where the commotion comes from, but I've never seen them.
All right, well, thanks a lot, and I give him like a pat on the shoulder and let him enjoy the rest of his festival.
Okay, yeah, he takes a drink and he says, and you all best be staying away from that.
Don't want to get mixed up in any of that either. And he
goes swaggering away.
Too late.
All right, so I guess we head over there.
Yeah.
All right. So nothing else. You guys are just going to go and stake it out and see what happens.
I have like a thing that I wanted to do. So, before the competition, we were like hanging out at the fair, right?
Yeah.
Before. Could I have found like a little like tourist gift shop?
Yeah, they're
Or this side thing with it.
sure. No, I definitely say that there are probably there are probably some people selling little like oddities and little maybe like glass blown bees and small little representations of the sort of atmosphere of Bjornheim. So yeah,
Bjornheim t-shirt.
Yeah. Stuff like that, or like kind of like the Hulk hands, except they're like bear claws, and then they sell actual bear claws too.
All right. Well, I'm looking for a little bear statue.
Okay, like a little like stone
Yeah.
carving or like wood
Yeah.
carving or something. Okay, yeah. You as most of the people are packing up at this point, most of the vendors and are beginning to sort of retire and put their stuff away, and you find a small little shop that sells little kind of carved like wooden collectibles and stuff, and probably a craftsman or a woodworker in the town that kind of takes advantage of the festival atmosphere and selling little carvings. It's an older dwarven man that is sitting on a stool and has kind of beginning to pull up the wares that he hasn't sold and box them away as you approach. And he sees you approach and he says, "Oh, hello there. Can I help you?"
Good evening. New to this town and just wanted to have some sort of wanted to remember coming here. Do you have any little like bear sculptures?
Of course. Definitely. I have bear everything here. And he reaches in the box and pulls out a couple little statues. And he's got one that's like a white, like a birch wood, and one that's like a reddish, like a mahogany color. One that's like charred, looks like a black bear. And he has a variety of different colored little statues, and says, "Take your pick. And 1 emerald apiece."
All right, and I'm gonna hand him 1 emerald, and I'll take the little white bear.
Okay. He puts that one forward and takes the emerald from you and puts the rest away and says, "I hope you enjoyed your time." Wait, were you the one that won the climbing contest?
Indeed, that you're correct. That was me.
That was something. I've never seen anything like that before. We had a strange collection of contestants that we had this time between the metal man and you, and then the blue woman that was. Anyway, it was entertaining to watch. So do enjoy yourselves in your time here in Bjornheim.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Good evening to you too. And he packs everything up and begins to head home for the evening. And you meet up with the rest of your group.
Well,
Now I'm ready to go.
let's go stake it out.
Okay. You head over towards the western walls of the town, making your way. Are you wanting to head like outside the city gates and wait, or do you want to like stay within the city and watch from like atop the walls or something?
How tall are the walls again?
Close to, I'd say, 80 or so feet high.
Oh, they're real big.
Yeah, they're pretty tall.
Or do we want to just meet him head on, or we want to like hide?
I prefer hiding, but that's because I can get a pretty good advantage if I see them before they see me.
That's true.
Wall would give you a better advantage. So
Sorry, you're quiet. What?
do you think being on the wall would give you a better vantage point, Sato?
Oh, definitely. Having that high ground always helps.
All right.
I can find somewhere on the ground to stay out of the gates and hopefully where they won't be able to see me.
All right. So you guys gonna split up then?
Yes. I can go with Star. Pretty sneaky.
Okay.
Stealth buddies.
So what, the two of you want to head out the gates and try to find a place to hide amongst like the beehives and the fields of flowers and try to find a place like an ambush spot and Saddle, you want to stay up on the wall? Den, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna go out and wait for them.
Okay. Just out in the open.
Yep, just out in the open.
Cool.
I was gonna say a big shiny distraction. I'm not that big, but I'm a shiny loud distraction.
Do you have? Are you just keeping like Didar with you, Saddle, or?
Well, if we need big shiny distraction,
You want to send it with
I feel like Didar can go with Den, and they can
Come on, Jim.
buddy cop movie.
That's the spinoff we've been waiting for.
Jim and Den on patrol.
Oh, man.
Den
Okay.
wants to be the police car, but it's just not as fast as Den swimming.
It's like, what is it? Oh man, what is that show? In the car.
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider, but the car is a dinosaur.
But the car's a dinosaur. Can't believe I forgot Knight Rider.
It's all good. I'm also gonna leave Toadabet with Sadell, I think. Is that-
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Worst case scenario, I can just leave her up on the wall if I have to come down.
There you go. She can hang out.
Okay. So you have Tonabet. I don't think we talked about what Lucius is gonna do. I'm gonna make the assumption he's probably gonna stay up on the wall too. So he probably doesn't want to get in the fray. So yeah, Lucius will stay up on the wall with you, Senno. And I think for the sake of everything, Freeman's still like his joints are still locking from honey, and he just doesn't feel like he'd be very helpful in the situation right now. It's probably going to have to be cleaned out first.
I can help.
You can. It would take you some time. We'll say not something you could do for this fight, but you could definitely help him after.
Yeah.
With a long rest and a lot of oil, you could probably get him working again.
Yeah, I won't mind oiling him up.
Yeah. So we'll deal with that later. But for now, I'll have the sneaky bunch make some sneaky checks.
Sneaky snake.
Nick time.
Okay.
18.
All right.
15.
All right. All right. So you guys kind of hide amongst the beehives and the flowers, and there's plenty of area to sort of obscure yourselves at this amongst the surrounding countryside. I assume you guys are still staying within a couple hundred feet of the wall so that you're not, too far out. Saddle, you've got range for days, so I think you're pretty good. And then Den, you're just kind of standing on the roadside, shield and flail in hand, preparing yourself for battle. Cool.
With Didar.
With Didar. You riding on Didar or just standing next to him?
No, but I think he's like standing behind me probably.
Fair enough.
I don't know, will Didar do what I say?
Yeah,
Just go.
Didar trusts you.
Look scary. Can you growl? Talking to him like this.
I think he lets out this mechanical. It sounds like a gearbox kind of winding up at first, and so it kind of like, which is
it's like a really old pickup truck engine starting.
yeah. And it just continues until you tell him to stop.
Stop. All right, that's really scary. Do that.
He gives a nod. Okay, so you have yourselves all in position, and you wait. That's not the music I want. That's the music I want. So, you standing amongst the flowers and at the edge of the forest here, waiting for a bit. The wind begins to pick up. The time passes, though the sun isn't setting, and no really like passage of light to indicate exactly how long it is, but probably about 30, 45 minutes, an hour, kind of waiting there, and you start to get a little bit bored. Those of you are kind of crouching and hiding, probably getting a little like some cramps. Occasionally a bee will kind of buzz by, swat it off or ignore it or whatever you want to do with bees. Eventually, I think those of you on the ground, well, I'd say given the vantage point that Sato has, and then those of you that are on the ground have pretty high passive perceptions. So I think you begin to hear the sounds of like hoofbeats, the sound of something approaching on horseback through the forest beyond. It's distant quiet at first, and it begins to sort of approach a little bit louder and louder and louder, and then you begin to notice, I think, Sato, from your position, you see a glint of red in the forest, and you see almost like a banner as approaching, as through the tree line, you see a single figure on horseback come emerging down the road in your direction. He rides upon a sort of auburn-colored, orange-reddish horse, wearing red and gold scale armor, has a helm in the same crimson color, with a tuft of I'm trying to think of the word off the top of my head, but has the hair coming out of the back of the helmet. I'm at a loss for words right now, so I'm just going to skip that part and continue with my description. From underneath the helmet, you can't make out his face, but you do see this glorious, thick red beard that sort of is framing the front of his chest. It is a large figure carrying a tabard or a flag on one side and in one hand that is streaming behind him, the same red color, and is this imposing large horseman that is riding up to the gates. And is coming straight in your direction, Den. And at his side, you see him. He has a long sword at his hip, and in his other arm is carrying a lance.
Oi, you.
He approaches probably
I yell
about
at him.
50 feet off or so, and finally kind of comes to a stop, veering to the side a bit as you call out to him, Den. As you give your intimidating cry, and he stops and he says, "Well, this is new. Who are you, small one?"
None of your business, mostly. How about you turn around and fuck off?
He scoffs, and the horse sort of beats at the ground a little bit with its front hoof, and he lets out a cry and says, "Do you know who I am and who I represent?"
Yeah. Queen of assholes and magic or something. I heard you're here to burn the fields and cause terror and all that, and you're not doing it this time, so go home, Ginger.
The horse kind of lets out a scoff, kind of bonding. You see this, the horse itself looks angry at your words, and the man scowls a bit. You see the corners of his mouth tensing, and he says,
Says, your insolence will not be overlooked. I see that old Honeypaws has finally shown a bit of teeth, though he will not come out here himself. I was sent here by Lady Saluna Verifel, Queen of Night and Magic.
That's it. That one.
And you will show some respect.
Listen, no offense. Well, yeah, offense. Actually, I don't know you. I don't know you, Queen. She's not mine. But, you're done messing with this town. So turn around and go home.
I think he tenses at that point and he takes the flag and he jams it into the ground and stakes it there. And he says, very well. If the Bear King chooses you as his champion, then I will have the honor of bearing your head to my lady and burning half the fields to ashes. He, at that point, kind of steadies his helm, rears back on the reins a bit as the horse rears up and lets out a whinny and begins to ride forward with his lance in hand.
Great. I use my channel divinity to do that thing. Oh man.
Okay, I think we're probably gonna have
I
to
can
do.
do no. I want to do a thing if he gets to do one.
Well, I was gonna say we should probably roll initiative before this all kicks off because he's not. He is approaching you on horseback. I'd say he's just still a little ways off. So here's what I'll say: you do have, I think, a round before he gets to you. So what do you want to do?
I just use my bonus action to do Gale's Fury and cover myself in electricity.
Okay.
And say,
yeah.
Get him, Jim.
Okay. So I think you have that reaction to imbue that, begin to crack with electricity pouring off your armor and to your fingertips as you begin to hover slightly in the air with your winged boot or the power of your ring. I just realized how Thor this got, and I love it.
That's all I've ever wanted.
Need some Ozzy Osbourne to start playing.
Yeah. All right. So at this point, I think we're gonna go into initiative. Are you guys that are in the brush off to the side? Essentially, I think you guys are on either side of the road. He is coming straight down the middle towards you. Den is standing on the road there. Sato, you're up, and you're training on him with your rifle. So as we have that scene set in place, let's roll some initiative. I'll put you over to the page.
Well.
All right.
Well, Starin.
Well, I rolled real
Probably
dice, and I rolled
ready.
much better on my real dice.
Oh, I rolled terrible on my real dice.
Which is
I
fine.
rolled
Updated.
the exact same on my real dice.
Nice.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Come on, you guys. We're better than this.
No, we're doing great. I rolled like a 19. We're fine.
I can't see the tracker.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Oh, sorry, I didn't pop it up. There we go.
Yay.
So, no, something's wrong with mine.
All right.
I also forget that I have advantage.
You do have advantage. Don't forget that.
Is it too late to activate Vinsar and give the horseman disadvantage on his initiative?
No, you can do that.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay, I will have him roll again. See if it's lower. It is higher, so he will take the first roll. All right. So I think that is everyone. That's going to be Star up first.
Hey, roughly how far away from me is he at this very second?
He is, I'd say, probably about 30 feet and closing.
Okay, I would like to use the cloak to misty step behind him and rake him with the magic claw.
Okay. So are you like misty stepping like on top of the horse, like directly behind him?
Yes.
Okay.
Just 'cause that sounds so much better.
Okay. So go ahead and make your attack with advantage.
That's probably not it. So that will be a. Where's my bonus? 17.
17 will miss.
Oh.
As you appear behind him, you take your magical claw and you go to strike towards him. There's a glint. You see his head slightly turn as seems to have been aware of your presence near the side of the road, and kind of rears back, clutching onto the reins, and throws up a gauntlet to deflect your strike, kind of hanging off slightly. And you see for a second how adept he is at riding on this horse. Sort of veers off to the side, deflects your strike, and then rights himself in his saddle at about the same time as I think you kind of you hit and deflect and sort of nimbly. I'm not going to say you fall prone or anything, but are you going to stay on the horse? Or are you going to fall off? I guess is my question. Are you going to where do you want to end up at the end of the strike?
I want to try stay on.
Okay, for that I'll have you make I think an athletic or an acrobatics check is appropriate for this.
18.
Okay. Yeah, I think you are managed to balance yourself at that moment, as he is now aware of your presence and sort of harried on both sides. And we'll see how he deals with that in a second. So that is anything else for your turn?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Sato, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna shoot him, I guess, and try not to shoot Star.
Okay.
And I am gonna use my tactical stance so that I get advantage.
Okay.
29.
Yeah, that hits.
12 piercing and 11 thunder damage.
Okay. Check. Okay. 12 piercing, 11 thunder. So that's 22 points. No, 23 points. All right. Actually, forgot about that. So here's what happens in that moment. You take the shot, the bullet goes streaking down, hits him, and there's a crack of thunder which sort of disrupts his balance just slightly. It's hard to tell from where you are, but Star, you see where the bullet hits. You see where it pierces through the armor. You get the impression that didn't do as much damage as you thought it might. Does seem to have some resistance even to your magical piercing damage. Alrighty. And that will end your turn, Sato. Bonus action reload.
Yep.
Okay. And Didar's got his own turn, so I'll stay there. Den.
Yes, I'm going to fly towards him. Because I could do that.
Okay, you can.
It's so great. And I'm gonna swing the flail at him.
Okay.
At his head, I guess.
Go ahead and make your strike.
Ah, jeez. 21.
21 hits.
Yay. I do. That's not very much. 11 bludgeoning damage and 1 thunder damage.
Okay.
One of them.
You hit with the flail. Are you gonna do you want to do your second strike too?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my bonus action to do the second one.
Okay.
Oh, that's a lot. 30.
30 also hits.
Yay. Got a 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 15. 15 bludgeoning damage on that one.
Okay. You hit once again. It doesn't seem to have as heavy of an impact as you would like with the bludgeoning damage. It's like it's like hitting a rock. Essentially, there's that reverberation. It feels like you're hitting something much harder than a flesh and blood person. However, the thunder damage does do the full effect there. It's one damage.
One whole thunder damage.
That was not reduced.
Making progress.
And then you're staying up there with him as you kind of well, you guys are approaching at the same time, so we'll get to his part of the things. Everything's happening at once. Okay. And then that'll put to Lucius's turn. I'm gonna keep this easy on myself with Lucius. He is going to summon his shadow puppet, vapor puppet, on the ground near you to assist. And he is going to rend as his action. Oh no, it's his action to create it, and then his bonus action, he's going to command it to take a shot. So no, the vapor puppet is just getting its full turn here. So it's going to make its strike. It's just going to hit. Just going to deal. That's not. That. 5 points of damage, which again is reduced to 2. All right. Which then brings it to the horseman's turn as the vapor puppet appears on the side of the road and in the form of Julius Hound taking its shot. We then get that accelerated timeline where the horseman aiming and taking his shot, following through with his lance towards Den. Is going to make his first strike against you. That's a 22 to hit.
Oh man, that just barely hits me.
Oh no, wait! Hold on, I gotta roll again. Oh, that is going to miss because he is at disadvantage because you are within 5 feet of him.
With a lance, man.
Yeah.
Haha. Sucks for you.
So he follows through with that strike with his lance, and misses, and frustratingly, actually reaches down. He drops the lance with his bonus action. It's his quick draw. He is going to draw his long sword, and he is going to take a strike at you with that instead.
This guy's cool.
That's going to also miss. And then last, he's going to make his third strike at you again, Den. That's only a 19.
Haha.
Wow. All right. Well, that sucked. So he...
Not for me!
as an action, bonus action. So that's all he can do with his turn. Let's see. That'll put it to Tova.
All right. For my, I'm gonna take out Longfang, and I'm going to try to restrain the horse.
Okay.
So, I guess I'm like going for its legs or something.
Okay. So you're taking an attack at the horse?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a natural 20.
All right.
And it has to make a dex save, or it will be restrained.
Okay. So you lash out at it with the with Longfang. It's gonna make it's. You said a dex save. Or-
Yeah. So
Okay.
make a dex save to avoid it.
Okay, it's gonna get. Actually, it was a really good roll for the horse. Plus nothing. That'll be a 19.
Oh, that is really good. Yeah, he makes it.
Yeah,
Well, he still takes damage.
does take the damage. So go ahead and roll that.
Ouch. Do I get sneak attack for this?
You have allies within 5 feet of the horse, so yeah,
Okay. All right.
you have an ally standing on top of the horse.
Okay, so that poor horse.
Suddenly we're in a circus act.
But-
Takes 17 damage on that horse.
Okay. All right. So the chain goes streaking out towards the horse and kind of hits the legs of it, beginning to wrap around the horse, lets out a whinny, which I'm not going to try to impersonate, but kind of pushes through it, able to break free of the chains. Longfang falling loose to the ground, he yank the blade back. But the horse, it takes a lot of damage from that, but it's still up and moving.
Okay, and with my extra attack, I'm gonna try it again.
Okay.
Oh, but that's not gonna hit this time. 12? Does a 12 hit the horse?
12 would, and I gave it to you with the natural 20 on the first one, but he is going to use part of his abilities as a peerless rider, is directing the attack towards himself instead, is able to redirect the horse in that moment. The blade actually, Longfang streaking up towards a little bit high, coming up towards the rider instead, and he strikes out with his long sword, deflecting the blow.
Dang, son. Okay. And then I'm gonna, for my bonus action, just patient defense. I'm gonna spend.
Okay. So that'll put it to Tidar's turn.
Oh man, I forgot he was supposed to take lightning damage on his turn.
Oh, because he's within
5 feet of
5
me.
feet.
I forgot.
Okay. Is it a saving throw or does he just take the damage?
No, he just takes it. It's
How much damage?
I'm looking. 5.
5. Okay. All right. So a late blast of electricity hits the horseman. So that'll put it to Didar's turn then.
Let's see if Didar can like grab this guy off of the horse, like claw machine him off of his horse.
Okay. So I guess we'll just do like a grapple check for Didar.
Sure.
Yeah, let's go with that. So have Didar roll. I assume he doesn't have proficiency in athletics.
No.
Okay, so we'll just say Didar makes a strength check.
Okay. 19.
19. Okay. And the horseman will make his check. Let's see. Oh, that's a natural 1. For a total of not enough. So
For a total of not enough.
So as the horseman is riding past, Den kind of flying in front, hacking and slashing the now Star standing on the back, attempting to strike down as well. Suddenly Didar comes running up in his slow way. And as you guys are passing Didar, making your way towards the gates, Didar just clamps down towards the back of the rider's armor and just yanks him off of the back of the horse and onto the ground, landing with a heavy crashing sound onto the dirt and rubble below. The horse then riding off on its own and kind of beginning to slow and turn around, now with only Star standing on top of it. I'll say for that he takes, just roll a d6. He'll take some damage at the fall.
The claw.
4.
Okay, so I'll take 2 points of falling damage. All right, so that will be Didar's turn. Put to Star.
Okay, bonus action to cast Shadow Blade.
Okay, standing on the back of the horse, you summon the Shadow Blade to your hand.
Then I jump off the horse and go to attack him.
All right. Do it to it.
So it's a regular attack, and Didar's still within 5 feet, I take it?
Yes,
5 feet
Didar's.
And then as well. Come on, roll high. Don't fall off the desk. That is a 23.
23 will hit.
Haha. Those many. 2, 4, 9, 11, 15, 20, 24. 30 points of psychic damage.
All right. 30 points of psychic damage to the rider. That's a hard impact as you jab the blade down as he's on one knee and beginning to pull himself up, suddenly thrusting the dark blade of coalesced shadow between the gaps in the armor, lets out a cry of pain, just kind of looks you straight in the face, and you see these kind of golden eyes looking out from underneath, and he says, "You're going to regret that." As he begins to pull himself up. Anything else for your turn?
I'm just going to get ready to uncanny dodge the second he attacks me.
Okay. At which point, before Sadil's turn, there is a whistling noise that comes from the tree line as a barrage of arrows comes streaking down in the direction of the group. I will put them on the map. As a hidden group of hunters from the shadows now aim and fire in the direction of those of you that are on the ground. So I'll go and do some attacks. It's going to be 4 of them, and there are 4 of you on the ground, including Didar. So we'll just do 2 against each of you. I'm just going to click these because it's going to be easier. So Den, you first. That'll be miss. And a 24, I think, hits.
It does.
Okay, so it's 1 hit against you for 7 piercing and 5 poison. As the arrow sinks into you and you feel this kind of burning sensation from the wound, these poison-tipped arrows. The next will be against Star. It's going to be a 24 and a 15. Uh, 24 does 5 piercing and 12 poison. I think that was max poison damage. Yeah, that was max poison damage. And then the third one against range of attacks against Tova. It's a natural 1. Into 17.
Concentration check, by the way.
Oh, okay, awesome.
What, 17? Does not hit.
Does not hit. You're able to dodge away both arrows, seeing them coming. And then last one's against Didar. 15 and a 26.
I think the 15 misses. Yeah, 26 hits though.
Okay. The 26 deals 11 piercing and 5 poison.
And he's immune to poison.
So 11 piercing.
Cool.
I was going to ask if he's not immune to poison. I feel like he should be.
Yeah, no, he's immune to poison because he's a robot.
Yeah. Robots. Okay.
Cool.
So now the Fey Hunters have revealed themselves. It'll be Saddle's turn.
I'm going to turn my aim to one of the hunters and go after them.
Okay.
Since we have plenty of close range.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about that. Also, again, since I'm not moving, get advantage.
Okay.
30?
30 hits.
I don't know, that's kind of low. 15 piercing, 13 thunder.
All right. So it's 28 points of damage total. Okay. Damn. 20. Yeah. So 28 points of damage to that one. As you see them emerge, boosh, send out the shot. You see one of these hunters kind of get knocked back into the grass and then kind of duck back up or emerge back, trying to stay low. You see blood kind of streaking down the side of their face where the bullet had kind of grazed off the side of their head. And beginning to look around, seeing you up there from a distance. Now beginning to knock an arrow in your direction.
I fought in your general direction.
Nice. Okay, that is going to be end of your turn.
Yep.
Okay. Den.
I guess I'm still going after the big guy. With whatever. Does Didar still have him, or did he like fling him?
Didar does still have him grappled, yes.
Great. Are his like? Is it like Jurassic Park and his like legs are just like hanging out of his mouth?
No. I mean, Didar's not that big.
I don't know.
Yeah. No.
He's a dinosaur.
No, Didar's head basically clamps onto like his shoulder.
Great. I swing at him like a piñata.
Sure.
This sounds awesome.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
That's how I'm imagining it. That's not very good. 15.
Ugh. 15 will not hit.
No. I use my bonus action to do another one.
Okay. So I don't think you have advantage because it's grappled.
Or do I?
Or do you? I don't know. Let me look.
Okay.
Hold, please. That's not how you spell grapple. Grappled. No, it's just no speed. That's right. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So what was your second attack?
It was still not very good. 17?
No. So you hit, you slam down to him. He still is able to deflect one of your blows with his longsword. The second one you hit into the armor, and it's just too thick, and you didn't get a heavy enough strike to really push through it. But he's still stuck there for the time being. All right, which will put it to Lucius's turn. The Vapor Puppet is going to make its 2 strikes at the dude. Actually, Vapor Puppet's going to help Saddle out. It's going to go for some of the hunters with its gun. First strike is an 8. That's going to miss. Second strike is 14. That's going to miss. That's a good turn from the Vapor Puppet. Which I'll remember that next time when they're making their strikes, they might go after him too. Then Lucius is going to cast a... he's going to cast a blight down at one of the hunters. I think he's got range for that. Nope, that's only 30 feet. Nope, he is going to guiding bolt one of them instead. That's going to hit. For 14 radiant damage. All right, a streaking blast, and that one will have advantage on it on the next strike. Just got a little gold thing there. Cool. Golden blast comes streaking down from the tower and strikes one of the hunters along the way, which will bring it to the horseman's turn. Horseman, now dismounted, is looking very perturbed, and is going to use his action. Yeah, he's going to do this. He begins to mutter under his breath, and you see a bit of arcane energy kind of swirling around him. And suddenly, as he moves around, he's moving at a much faster pace than he was before, as he casts haste upon himself, and then is going to use his hasted action to make one attack at... I think he's going to make attack you, Star, because you really did a number on him with that blade. That is a 17 to hit. I don't know if that hits. You're 18 now?
18 with the ring of protection.
Cannot hit anyone today. So, yep, that sounds about right. So that will be the end of his turn, but is now hasted. Whatever good that'll do. Tova.
Okay. You said the horse ran off, right?
The horse is sort of heading towards the gates. I'd say because the horse would have gone on his turn. The horse has gone towards the gates and is beginning to circle back around and riding back towards the group.
Okay. All right. Just curious. I'm gonna attack the now not horseless horseman.
Okay.
Yeah, just gonna attack him twice with long fang.
Go for it.
First one is 21.
21 hit. No, 21 does not hit now because he's hasted.
Oh yeah. Okay. And then for the second strike, oh, that's a lot better. 29.
That will hit.
Okay. All right. That. Oh. That's 7 slashing damage.
Yes. Slash damage reduced to 3. All right.
And then, yeah, so I tried to hit him twice. I got him on the second one, and then maybe spin around, and I'm gonna kick him.
Okay.
For my bonus action, unarmed. Which 25? Does that hit?
That'll hit. Yeah.
That hits him. Oh, that was a better hit. That's 10 bludgeoning.
All right. Just 5. Still maintains concentration with those 2 hits.
Oh man. Okay.
All righty. So that will end your turn as you're all of you kind of ganging around him, punching and kicking and slashing and biting. Speaking of which, Didar's turn.
Get Didar just to take a bite out of him.
Okay. What I will say as far as Didar taking a bite is Didar's holding on to him right now. No, I'll just because I was going to say he has to break his grapple in order to take a bite, but he can just chomp down. So go ahead and just make an attack roll. We'll just interpret this one way or another.
12.
Okay. Dr tries to kind of use the mechanical servos kind of rear to life, and he tries to bite down a bit. It's hard to get through the armor. He's not really in a place where he's doing damage yet, but is still kind of being and trying to clamp down even harder.
Cool.
All right. Star, it's your turn. Muted.
I am going to Shadow Blade again because he doesn't like that, and
No.
I find that hilarious. I'm just clarifying to make sure, but it's not dim or dark here, is it?
No, not here.
Damn it, if only we were fighting a few miles that way. That is a 25.
25 will hit.
2, 7, 12 plus 14, 17, 22, 28 points of damage that time.
How much was the total again? 20.
Uh,
So 28.
yeah.
All right. Another solid hit. Saving throw. Succeeds on the saving throw. Finally, rolling well for something at least will be to maintain a spell that's not going to help at all. All right. That will... anything for your bonus action?
Bonus action might as well go with the claw
Okay.
because I've got it. 24.
24 hits.
Yeah. And claw is for them. That's another 5 points of damage.
All right. Just 2. Succeeds on that too. All right. So you strike again, you get the shadow blade into the same spot, kind of ripping the blade out and stabbing right back into the same spot, and then jabbing it with your other, with your claw. The claw not doing as much damage. Shadow blade doing a fuck ton. And then that'll be the elves' turns now. And they are not happy about what's going on there. Some of them are beginning to sort of approach in a more like support capacity as they're continuing to fire desperately at this point, seeing the way the battle is turning. The one that got bloodied by Sadel is going to take its shot up towards him.
Bet.
That's going to be a 10, so I think that's going to miss. Just checking.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Second attack against you is 14. That also misses. So trying to shoot at you, but you're also, kind of behind cover, shooting down from it. I mean, it's just not a good. It's just doing it in desperation at this point. The other 3 are going to take their shots at those of you that are engaged. So 2 at Sato, because you're doing buku amounts of damage right now. That's a 19.
That hits just barely.
Oh, sorry, I meant Star. Did I say Sato?
You said
Yeah.
Saddle, yeah.
Oh, I meant Star.
That hits me, yeah.
In my mind, it was Star, so it's only fair. So I'll do the second attack too.
The one time he can actually hit me, he goes, nah, never mind.
I had to be fair with it as much as I want to. That's a 17, so I think that misses you.
That misses, yeah.
Okay. The first one is 10 piercing, 5 poison. I actually forgot they do sneak attack damage because you're within 5 feet. Forgot that last turn. That's going to be another 8 points of piercing damage.
So that's 23 total.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make my concentration. That is a... I can't remember my number now. 14 on that.
It's 23 points damage, so you need an 11 or higher. So you're good. And then let's see. So it was 1. So there's 2 more. The second one or the third one is going to make its attacks towards. Then you didn't hit with anything. So Tova.
Okay.
Being a threat because you did some damage. That's a natural 20.
Okay. I'm gonna try to deflect it.
Okay.
Damage.
So here, this is what I'll say here. So it's 11 points of piercing damage.
Okay. I rolled a 23, so I hit the 0.
Okay, so what I'll say for the strike is because it doesn't really make sense to me that you would take any of the. I can't. If you're able to reduce the piercing damage, you don't take the poison damage. So, I think you catch it. Simple as
I
that.
catch it, and I spend a key point and throw it right back.
Throw it back. Okay, go ahead and make your ranged attack roll.
Okay.
So sick.
That is, I gotta use my proficiency for that. So 22.
That hits.
Okay. I don't know how to roll damage for that. Let me look at it again.
I think it's just your normal, like, unarmed damage.
Okay. Yeah. You are right. So that is 6 points. Damage.
Okay. 6 points damage. And for the sake of it, I'm going to add the poison damage onto it.
Yes!
So go ahead and roll 2d6 for the poison damage.
Oh, it's 2d6.
Yes.
Dang. So that's 4.
All right. So additional 4 points of poison damage. So you hurl the arrow back and it kind of sticks in, and the hunter balks a bit at that and rips the arrow out. And just looks at the arrow, kind of perplexed as you just caught it and hurled it back, and then quickly takes her second shot towards you. That's a 25, so I think that's gonna hit you.
Yeah, that hits.
That's 11 piercing
Okay.
and 7 poison.
All right.
All right. But you deflect that first one. That was great. And then the last one is going to make their strikes at Den. Miss. Why do I even bother? It's a 12 and a 9. That will put it to Sadov's turn.
I'm gonna shoot the hunter that tried to shoot at me,
Okay.
which is the same one that I hit the first time, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. 20,
20 will hit.
9 piercing, 13 thunder.
9 piercing, 13 thunder. Okay. 22 points of damage. All right. Damn. Take your shot. Kind of clipping into the thighs. They're approaching, and they stagger and fall at that point with the second significant gunshot wound that they have taken. Still up, but starting to look kind of rough. Alrighty. And then bonus action to reload, I assume. Okay. Den, it's your turn.
I would like to use my action to take out the panda that I forgot I had until right now, and drop it and put the shield over us, over me and Tova and Star, since we're all right here. I forgot about it.
Yeah. Good thinking there. So you use your action, grab towards your back, and yank out this device that slams to the ground and begins to like click and whir, and you see this sparking of energy across it as it just begins to pulse to life there on the ground. And we will get into that the next ranged attack that passes through that area. So that will put it to...
No?
Oh, no, that was your action, so you still have your bonus action.
I hit the big guy with my bonus action.
Go for it.
26.
26 will hit.
Yeah. That is 12 bludgeoning and 2 thunder damage. So 14 total.
Okay. Succeeds. Okay. You hit him again with that in a wielding way. I mean, like I said, he's not looking great at this point and hasn't gotten a hit off. Jesus. That will end your turn. Put to Lucius's turn, who Favor Puppet is going to make its strikes. Cannot hit anything. And then that'll put it to Lucius is going to do a rending, because I'm not very creative, and I haven't really thought through his sheet here. So it's going to be a rending attack against one of the hunters. Go against the one that's guiding bolt for advantage. 21. Either way, that hits for 13 points of slashing damage. All right. Which puts it to the horseman's turn.
He takes a lightning damage.
Is it 5 points?
It's 5. I keep forgetting. Gotta yell it as soon as I remember.
60s on that too.
5 damages.
All right, has managed to keep his haste for a round. And is thus going to make his strikes. So he is going to, using his longsword, I guess he's going to go for a strike at Star. Star keeps wrecking his shit. It's a 19.
That does hit.
Holy crap, he hit somebody. All right, so we're going to do this. Star, you take 10 points of slashing damage.
Uh-huh.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, well, okay. And I've got to do a concentration check for my Shadow Blade as well.
Yeah, do this first, because this might affect.
That is a 5.
All right, go to roll 3d10 for me.
Oh, that's not funny because I haven't got all my dice out today. 23.
How old is Star?
Star is 22.
Okay. Luckily, this is not going the way that you might be worried that it's going to go, because Star is suddenly, in a flash of light and kind of the breath is taken out of you, Star's looking a solid 45 at this point. So I don't know the lifespan of Tabaxis.
I will double check it quickly.
Okay. So instantly, Star ages 23 years. Which just wreaks havoc on your body at that point. What is the lifespan of a Tabaxi? Did you look it up, or are you in the process? Okay, it's fine. So for the creature that ages this way, until I tell you otherwise, due to the strain this is taking on your body, you now have disadvantage on attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws based on strength, dexterity, and constitution.
Okay. I'll do the concentration check first.
Yeah, go ahead and do that. Disadvantage.
So that is 8.
8. So that's a fail. So you lose the Shadow Blade at the moment, which I think makes sense, given what you just went through. I don't know if your concentration lasts 23 years. So, so that's his. Was that the first strike? I think that was the first.
Yeah, that was the first.
All right. So second strike is going to go at. Seeing that happen to Star, seeing that take effect, there's a grin that crosses his face, and he is going to swing around towards Den. It's a 17, so that misses. And it's just going to follow up and try to do a third strike against you. 18, also misses. One day I'll hit you. And hasted action is going to swing at Tova this time.
Cool.
That's a 20 total.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. Luckily, he does not have his temporal strike back. But he does do 9 points of slashing damage.
Okay. Ow.
All right. That is the end of his turn. Actually, as towards the end of his turn, I think the horse has finally gotten back up to this. So as root around and come charging through, and makes it to your grouping now, and is going to unleash a furious attack at Den. because nobody else will be able to hit. Maybe the horse can. Nope. That's a 9. So the horse tries to hoof down at you, and you're able to just deflect it with your shield. Horse having nothing on you as far as strength goes. Tova, it is your turn now.
Okay. I was worried the horse was gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna try to restrain the horse again.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend a key point to disengage for my bonus action.
Okay.
I'm not quite there yet with Rogue. And so kind of like get away a little bit from the horseman.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna try to attack the horse with Long Bang and try to restrain it. So that is 21 to hit the horse.
21 hits.
Okay. He needs to make a dex save.
Roll your damage first.
Okay. That is 9 points of damage.
It definitely restrains the horse, because the horse at that point, as you send the chain with the blade at the end of it wrapping around the horse, and it digs in the side, pull back on it, the blade digging in further and kind of cutting across the underside of the horse as it's dragged. The horse lets out a gasp and a whinny, and then sort of dissolves away into these like sparks of flame and dust around, and just sort of vanishes from sight.
Okay.
The horse is gone.
Horse is gone. Okay, and then for my other attack, I'm gonna. How far away are the other hunters? Are they like right up in your grill, or are they still far out?
I'd say they're probably like 60 feet away or so.
Okay, I'm gonna take out my short bow for my extra attack and shoot one of them. Does one of them still have that guiding bolt thing? Or
no, that one already got exhausted.
Okay, that's all right. That is a 16.
That hits.
That hits. Okay. Take 7 piercing damage.
7 piercing
To
damage.
whichever one it seems like that's getting closer.
All right, we'll say you go for the one that is facing off with Sadell right now. Is kind of moved forward the most. Is also looking the roughest out of them.
There you go.
All right, still up, but definitely looking hurt. All right, so that will put it to Didar's turn.
I'm gonna try taking another bite out of Horseman.
All right, go for it.
22.
22 does hit, barely hits.
16 piercing damage.
All right, and you'll make succeeds on the concentration check. But is steadily getting whittled away here as DR just clamps down even harder, and you hear this gasp of pain as the plates of the scale armor are just dug into this person's fleshy form underneath. All right. Star.
Okay.
Old man Star.
Because 45 is so old.
Yeah.
Just ancient.
I'm middle-aged now.
Well, when you age 23 years in a second, probably isn't the healthiest aging.
I am going to cast not Shadowblade, Shocking Grasp, that's the one.
Okay.
On the
okay.
horseman.
All right. You are at disadvantage for the attack roll.
He's wearing metal armor, I believe.
Okay, so that cancels it out. So it's a normal attack.
That is a 24. No, that's a spell attack, sorry. Slightly lower. I'm used to my numbers like staying at one thing. 22.
22 just hits.
And that is is 2 of these. 5, 6. He takes 11 points of lightning damage.
All right. So what's the lightning damage?
I've still got it, young man.
The lightning damage courses through the plates and cause him to kind of flinch and tear in pain at that point. Are you staying where you're at?
Yeah, I'm staying where I'm at.
Okay. That'll put it to the hunters' turns. So I think they are going to continue their barrage. One's going to go for Saddle again. It doesn't like you. That's a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that one hits.
Okay. The other's a 13, so I think that misses. That's going to be 7 piercing and 10 poison. He does bleed. The second one, oh wait, oh no, you're not. Can't get sneak attack on you. You're not within an ally or incapacitated. That will be the second one against Den.
The first one is negated.
That is so that one just,
Panda.
that one just dissolves as it is shot towards you. As a bolt of electricity or this arcane energy blasts the arrow straight out of the air. Second strike.
I look back towards Saddle. I go, it works.
As you say, it works. And suddenly, ting, the second arrow just deflects off of your armor. Not able to pierce through with a 10. And then it's going to be Tova with a 10 and a 19.
A 19 does hit, and I stepped out of the range of the panda, but I'm gonna try to catch it again
You can.
because I have my reaction.
So go ahead and roll your. I'm pretty sure you're going to reduce it no matter what, but go ahead and.
15.
Yeah, you reduce it.
I'm gonna spend another key point and shoot it back at him.
Okay.
All right, that's not a natural 20.
That'll hit.
Okay. And then it's my monk. So 7.
And then roll the 2d6 again because it's still.
Oh,
I can stop shooting at you in a second.
and an extra 5.
Okay. 5 points of poison damage. That's the same one too in my mind as the as I'm going across. So that same one tries to take 2 more shots at you, saying like, "There's no way she can do it again." First one you dodge out of the way of. Second one you dodge out of the way, catch it, and then you wheel around, kind of continuing the momentum, and then hurling it back in her direction. And it stabs in. She rips out again, just kind of lets out a cry, just frustration that you've been able to do that twice.
Stop shooting at me!
And the last one is going to go for Old Man Star. Well, that's a 26 and a 22.
Yeah.
Old Man Star is probably a little easier to hit now. So that's going to be a total. I'm just going to total up the 2. Unless, are you going to use any of your? I guess I'll do them one at a time in case you wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have to think. So the first one's 11 piercing and 10 poison.
Uncanny dodge.
Okay. So I think that we'll just have the whole thing. So it'll be 10 points of damage total, and then the second one is 6 piercing and 9 poison.
3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Ouch. I'm looking old and rough.
Oh. I'll put this on the first one so you can reduce it by half. It would have been 8 points of sneak attack, so now an additional 4 points of damage. I forgot to do that. All right.
Slightly rougher.
That will be the end of their turn. Sato.
I'm gonna see if I can finish off the hunter that's trying to kill me.
Okay.
How's a 29?
29 still hits the second time.
13 piercing, 16 thunder.
Ooh, 29 points of damage. Still up. Not looking, really not looking great.
Just for the giggles, I'm gonna throw in an extra D10
Okay.
for another 5 points of damage.
Okay. Still up, but not looking great. As you just continue to. I don't know if that's how you reload, but that's in my mind.
Sure, why not? It's suddenly a shotgun.
No, but you take your shot and you quickly reload it, and then you take your second shot and you reload it, and this person like the Terminator is still firing at you and coming across the grounds here.
We're just reenacting Terminator 2.
Yeah. LARPing as it is. All right, Den, is your turn.
Star is right near me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm gonna use my action to do a 3rd level Cure Wounds
Okay.
for my buddy. Where are my d8s? There you are. $17 healing.
All right.
Oh, my arthritis feels so much better.
Yay! And then I'll use my bonus action to I'll do an attack. I'll use my bonus action to attack the horseman again.
Okay.
30.
30 hits.
Yes. Ooh. Okay. Wait, hold on. Math. 18 bludgeoning damage and 3 thunder.
Okay.
Exploding dice.
9 points of bludgeoning plus 3 thunder, so 11 points of damage total. Alrighty. Real not looking good.
Haha.
Succeeds on it again. We're really doing well on the Constitution
This
save.
guy.
I can't roll below like a 15 on the Constitution saves. Can't roll above a 5 on the attack rolls.
Well, can't roll when you're dead.
Yeah. I'll put it to Lucius's turn. Vapor Puppet's going to continue his assault. Missing, probably. Oh, that one hits. That one hits too. For a total of 13 points of damage. So on that, Lucy's been attacking, and then I guess at this point, I think they're close enough for him to do a rend or a blight. I would do something else, but I don't know what spells he has prepared because he doesn't have them marked on his sheet. So all I have are the ones that are on his attacks and spellcasting, which is not a lot. So I'm gonna do Witch Bolt. Or no, Witch Bolt. Blight. So one of the peeps is going to make a Constitution save. (16), which fails. Guess I'll roll 5. So for 43 points of necrotic damage. Alrighty, that one went from looking okay to not looking good at all. 2 of the hunters are looking real rough right now. 2 of them, one of them hasn't been touched. The other one has a couple arrows sticking out of them. And they're all continuing to approach. I'll put it to the horseman's turn.
He takes lightning damage.
All right, that's 5 points of lightning damage.
5.
succeeds on the Constitution save. And he is going to not have a lot he can do here. He doesn't want to drop concentration on haste. This is a bad choice. He is going to... Actually, I'm going to see if he gets this back. No. All right. So I think what happens here is he, realizing he's not going to do well, he's going to use his action to disengage. He is going to use Harvest Movement to climb up onto... Nope, the horse is gone. He can't do that. He is going to use his action to disengage, and then his doubled movement... Man, he's in a tough place here because now he doesn't have the horse anymore. Yeah, I think he is going to... No, he's just going to attack because at this point he's just going to go out with a blaze of glory because he can't get on his horse and gain any sort of upper hand here. So that was a good choice. He is going to make his first strike on Den. The longsword. That'll actually hit. It's a 27.
Yep.
12 points of slashing damage.
I use my reaction to do Wrath of the Storm.
Of course you do.
Oh, it's like I one thing. He makes a dexterity saving throw.
All right.
D8s.
That's a natural 1.
That is 10 lightning damage.
All right.
And I want to push him. He's large or smaller,
Yeah.
right? I want to push him 10 feet back.
Okay. Push him back away from you a bit. As he kind of staggers across the ground, now pushed out of your immediate range, actually is going to use that opportunity, use his bonus action to grab his lance off the ground, to wield that, and now he's far enough away from you, he's going to attack the lance this time. Towards... he's going to go for Tova. That's a 13.
Nope.
No. And third attack is going to go towards Star. It's a natural 1. And his hasted action is going to be to attack Den again, because you're the only one he was able to hit this round.
Yeah, bro.
It's a 22.
Oh, that just hits.
Wow, that's not great. 9 points of piercing damage. All right. Yeah, he's probably gonna be dead here in a second. So that's the end of his turn. Tova.
Okay. Seeing that he's sort of just like wildly hitting out, gonna say, you don't have to fight us. Please, we just need you to leave. And I'm going to cast Word of Peace.
Okay. What is the...
He has to make a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay. Wisdom saving throw. It's my third natural 1.
Well,
which brings it to a 9 total. So I think that still fails. Though.
Yeah, so he is now charmed by me. Never done this before.
Yeah. So he's now charmed by you, which when charmed in this specific way, for 1 hour, he's immune to all damage, but he cannot make attacks or target other creatures with spells or harmful effects. And it ends early if you all attack him. So he is now essentially out of the fight unless somebody attacks him. So I think here's what happens, because it's gonna be more interesting than if we just continue to fight against the others. You speak out this word. He's in a rough place here, just wildly striking out, sort of welcoming death in that moment. And as he makes that final strike towards Den, you speak out this word, and there is this reverberation through the air between the two of you. And he stops in that moment. And his lance sort of falls, dragging across the dirt. And he shakes his head. And in that moment, there are a couple of arrows that kind of, one of them goes up by it's blasted by the panda. And he holds up a hand back towards the encroaching archers and says, "Enough!" And looks back towards you, Tova.
Please take your men and leave this town alone.
Looks back towards them. Make me a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay. I got the same on both of them. Well, that's okay. That is persuasion 21.
Okay, yeah, that's very good. I thought it was gonna be bad there for a second.
No, it was 2 10s.
Okay, shit, you got high persuasion. He looks and kind of grits his teeth a bit, gives a nod of respect, and says, "Turn back. We're going." And turns away from you and grabs the flag out of the ground. And he turns back towards, as he pulls the flag up, it's about 30 feet away or so now. Gives a stern expression out towards your group as he's surveying all of you very closely. He says, "I fear this will not be the end of this. We will see each other soon enough." And he mutters an incantation, and underneath him, sort of lifting him off the ground, the horse appears again, summoned beneath him. And he whips around, and he says, "The red sun sets, but the new will rise." And he stirs the horse forward, and the horse begins to charge off towards the tree line.
Oh my goodness.
Damn kids finally got off my lawn.
What is wrong with you?
What?
Star, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, you look a little more refined.
You look old.
What? This explains why my joints hurt. Help?
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder and do healing hands.
Okay.
I don't know if that helps.
Are you giving him hit points back with it?
Yeah, it's just hit points.
Okay. You do heal, but the aging doesn't reverse.
I could try. Come here, Grandpa. I'm gonna cast Greater Restoration
Okay.
on him to see if it fixes it.
All right. So you spend I forgot how much the Greater Restoration is.
I think it's 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100.
Okay. So you take out the materials that you have prepared, the diamond dust, or I forgot whatever it is, something ridiculous. And you perform the ritual there for a minute as you cast the shards of dust over him. It settles onto his fur, giving him sort of a glistening appearance for a moment that begins to sort of spark with electricity. You watch as his fur sort of stands on end, and you see the kind of worn sides of his face and the little bit of graying to his white fur begin to diminish, and the effects begin to reverse themselves. And that undoes it.
You feel better?
Yes, I thank you. That was strange. I had no idea they could do that. What the hell can even do that?
I don't know. We gotta get out of
It's
here.
very strange here.
Well, back to the Bear King, I guess.
As you all head back towards the gates, I think, Sadel, you watch as the rider begins to make their way off and the hunters begin to make their way off, and there's just the one hunter. It's looking really like bloodied and just beaten as the last one to kind of fade into the shadows and just sort of locks eyes with you and just...
I haven't even dropped my rifle. I keep it trained on him the whole time.
Yeah. It's just like glaring daggers at you as she ducks back into the shadows, and they all vanish, having made a new rival. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us during our break. Saw we had some new faces in the chat. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it, especially coming in at such a middle point to this story. If you're interested in anything that's happened thus far, as this is our 50th session of this game, you can check out the backlog of episodes that are available on our YouTube, youtube.com/GGameKnights, 2 G's and a K. Otherwise, maybe at some point we should write up like a recap of everything that's happened for people that come in.
That'd be fun.
That would be good.
We could do that.
Probably have to do that at some point. But we'll discuss that later. For now, though, we'll go ahead and get back into the game. So as Red Sun, or as the night retreats into the distant forests, you all re-enter the city of Bjornheim, with many people and bears gathered near the gates that you left through, sort of expectantly, a little bit, I guess, curious as to what happened outside, hearing the conflict, gunshots, and not seeing plumes of fire. As you entered, I think two of the big grizzly guard bears comes up, and one of them says,
Gone.
Yeah.
Good.
Looks to the other one. The other one they give a knowing nod to each other, points back to the longhouse, says, follow. And they begin to lead you back to the Bear King's Hall. I think as you're making your way back, you see the caravan of Iaglas that is off to the side. The tarp's covered. You see Iagla kind of sifting through a hat full of emeralds, putting them into small patches, and he sees you all as you're walking past and sort of waves with his spindly fingers towards all of you. You presume probably smiling underneath the mask, though he doesn't really give any expression, so it's this stoic porcelain, emotionless face, and he just raises an hand and kind of, it's creepy, but I think you probably get the idea. And I think, Star, you notice off to the side a figure of a human with pale skin and white hair, tattooing down the side of their head, when wearing dark clothing and leathers, leaning up against the building, locks eyes with you and just gives a nod, knowingly. So you all make your way inside the building, where you see the guards all gathered again along the halls, or the edges of the hall. Some people have made their way in there as well, not near the throne of the Bear King, and kind of curiously watching as this procession enters. And you walk your way up to the throne, where the king greets you, and he has a big smile across his face, a lot more pleasant looking than he was before, and says, "So it is done then."
It is.
Excellent. So, mead for everyone, please. Drinks. Come sit, all of you.
And he actually kind of comes down off of his throne. Well, more joke again, like it has a higher energy to him, and approaches, and there are trays brought over to you with large tankards and goblets of mead or whatever you might wish to drink. And Beckett says, "Sit, friends, and we will discuss our business."
I will sit and drink.
All right, so you all sit down at this grand table with that's covered in foods and different smoked and roasted meats, and heaping portions of stewed fruits and all sorts of sweet bits and pieces, and it's a very it's not the healthiest display of food and finery, but you definitely can get the impression that this Bear King has quite the sweet tooth to him, as he is pulling off bits and pieces of like honey roasted pork and other delectable bits of food that he is beginning to eagerly sort of eat in good spirits.
I just like him so much.
He picks a theme and sticks with it. And he smiles and looks around at all of you and says,
Well, I didn't know whether you would succeed or not. I thought it might at least be fun to watch. But I'm happy to hear that everything has gone well. The production of our orchards should be even better this year, that we don't have to deal with that mess. So, I guess on to business then. You wish to obtain information regarding how to acquire certain weapons? Well, I have been in this place since its beginning. Since we first crossed over from Zarthia. And made this land our home. I carved out this small bit of paradise for myself. Never fond of my brethren. Most of them, at least. I do not have, as I said before, the secrets to creating these cold forged iron blades and weaponry. That is something that I never took much interest in myself and was lost before I ever understood its importance. The process, as I understand it, from what I've learned over these few thousand years, is please eat your snacks. Just joking. He says, it's the process of cold forging weapons is something that is known difficult, but is knowable by most mortal kind. And the legends enslaying us with iron in its simple forms, mostly superstition.
as you can see, and he sort of pats to his side and pulls out a dagger, presumably made with iron, presses his thumb to it, says,
normal iron weapons aren't enough to harm any of my kin. The weapons that were forged during the first wars of our kind were complex, crafted by master craftsmen with knowledge of magics and practices that I fear none will ever know again. These weapons were crafted in rebellion against my sisters. And when the rebel armies were crushed, she cast those weapons out of existence, executing any who would have known their secrets. But what I know, at least, I can point you in the right direction. Those who, if you're willing to seek this knowledge and create these for yourselves, there are some things you'll need to succeed, the way I see it.
And he reaches over and breaks off a leg of the boar next to him, begins to like take a big bite into it, and sort of sits there chewing for a bit. Says, "You'll need the knowledge of these master smiths. As I said, they're dead, so that will be difficult. I imagine there might be some ways. The other bits might not be as hard. You'll need ore to craft these weapons. From my knowledge, the frost iron ore that was used to create these blades came from the mines of Cathersolus, the entrance to which now guarded by the Sealpore in the Lion's Den. Once you have the iron that's needed and the knowledge of how to work the iron and craft the weapons, you'll need to find and navigate the Forge of the Precursors, which its location has also been erased from most living memory. And then, lastly, you'll need a force large enough to stand against the queens themselves, to arm with these weapons that you're seeking to make. And, well, there aren't many armies large enough in these parts to stand against them. Save for one, the Wild Hunt. Allying yourselves with them might prove difficult, but I do have a bit of a rapport with my estranged brother. Lord of the Hunt comes here every few centuries, and we enjoy a few drinks together. So, I imagine an allegiance with me might at least get you an audience. He kind of sits there chewing and mulling over a bit of what he said, looking around all of you for any thoughts.
So everyone who knows how to craft these weapons is dead.
Says, by my knowledge, most died in the battle. The few that survived, I assume, were executed.
Any idea where any of them are buried?
Well, I suppose that very few were given a burial. I imagine it would be near the sites where the battle took place, if any were distinguished enough to deserve that honor. To the west of here, the Echo Myers was the site of the final conflict between the rebels and the forces of Cathersolus. It's where the last remaining survivors and keepers of the cause were struck down, from what I remember. I wasn't present at the battle myself. My forces stayed far away from it, protecting our borders. But I imagine you might find some there, spirits wandering the place that might have the information you're seeking.
All I need's a body. I can get the information we need.
As I said, bodies and spirits you'll find in abundance. The magics that prohibit us from leaving the Twilight Realms, put in place by my sisters, also prevent spirits of the dead from leaving as well. So most still find their selves an unwelcome home in those parts.
Do you think the queens would fight against each other?
I think they've been plotting and scheming for centuries, attempting to find the best way to end this conflict and to strike the killing blow. My sisters, they don't act needlessly. They won't wage war in the way that, well, me and my brothers would, if we were so inclined. They won't strike each other until they are certain of their victory. And thus we have stood here in this stalemate for as long as we have. Each plotting and scheming and concocting their victory 100 steps ahead of any of us.
I have an idea. None of you are gonna like it. They usually don't like my ideas.
Your ideas usually have us charging headfirst into danger against something terrifying.
We always win. If we can parley with Wild Hunt, put your forces, us, and the Wild Hunt together in a fight as allies, could we convince one of the queens to go after the other with us?
I suppose that is a possibility, but that seems to create a new problem. Once one falls, there's no one to stop the other.
There's you and us and the Wild Hunt. What if we've got a big beef with the Witch Queen? What if we could convince the Queen of Night and Magic that you people have had enough? That they're done with the Queen of Witches, and we're all gonna rise together to get rid of her. We get the Queen of Night and Magic on our side, and once one is dead, we turn on the other. Do you think you can spring a trap that large? Because if you want to be rid of both of them, that's the only option I'm seeing. And they both are going to hate us at this point, so I don't see us getting out of here unless they're both dead.
I would agree with that. I suppose there might not be any other way, but Queen Seluna Verifa, she hasn't maintained her position because she falls for simple traps. It's not so much having a trap large enough, it's ensuring that she's in it. So, if you come up with a plan, if this is the way you want to go and you don't see any better option, honestly, something is better than nothing at this point. But my concerns, first and foremost, are protecting my lands. So, I'll offer you your support. But our allegiance ends if I feel my domain is threatened.
We could spring the trap and kill them both. There's no one you have to protect your lands from.
Very true. Well, I suppose that's as good a plan as any. I would offer one other piece of advice, though. Allying with the Wild Hunt would be enough, I think, to upset the balance. it may be worth, and it pains me to say this, to beseech the aid of the River King as well.
We've heard he's difficult. Unpredictable, I think, was the word that was used.
As the ocean tides.
Well, I don't know if you can tell, but it's something I'm quite familiar with.
It might be worth gaining his favor, though I imagine he won't speak with you until you've made a bit of a name for yourself. Allying with the Wild Hunt, having us at your back, and perhaps speaking with him, Ulorian finds himself more beholden to Queen Verifel than any other. Turning him would be difficult, though he, as I said, is unpredictable. So, if you catch him on the right day, mayhaps he falls in line as well. I don't envy you having to speak with him. His rippling majesty, pompous buffoon.
Well, I suppose we're off on a ghost hunt then.
Well, I've offered you what knowledge I have. Once you've gained the capacity to craft these items, then I think you have the bargaining chip you need to entreat with the Wild Hunt. And from there, well, that would be the point of no return, because you'll have drawn the attention of both my sisters at that time. So, you have time to think on this and decide if this is the plan of action you wish to take. For now, and until that point, you're welcome within my walls and within my lands. I'll ensure that you're given every hospitality we have. Any other questions, Force of Gale?
What do you think would happen if, say this plan fails and we only kill one of the queens? What do you think would happen?
Hard to say. If Seluna were to succeed and Natalia fall, I imagine myself and my brothers would very quickly find blades between our ribs. And that would be the end of it. She has a large enough force to strike us down and is powerful enough to do so. So I believe it would be as simple as that, and she would claim her absolute dominion over the Twilight Realms. If Natalia were to be successful and strike down Seluna, harder to say. Her motivations have always escaped me. But the darkness that dwells in those lands, I imagine, would spread across these forests. Likely be burned to ash as well. I haven't spoken to my sisters for some time. You can probably imagine. Many, many lifetimes ago. I wouldn't presume to know their true hearts at this time.
He takes a big drink out of his tankard. You can see the thoughts on the subject weighing heavy on him.
Do I get the sense that he's still like withholding information, or is he?
Make an insight check.
Okay. 19?
18. Okay. I think you get the sense that that he does genuinely want peace in one way or another. Is tired of this Cold War, essentially, between the two sides. As far as holding anything back, for an ancient and powerful entity, he's hard to read. But everything he said, that you've been able to glean some bit of insight into him and look at his mannerisms and the way he's speaking, seems fairly forthright, does not seem to be a naturally deceptive person.
Okay.
He kind of rips off another piece of meat and says,
Well, I suppose we can speak more on the subject another time, should it be necessary. For now, if there's nothing further, I will return to my royal duties and leave you to your planning.
We'll return when we know more, I guess.
he steps back or stands up from the table. The guards all kind of coming to attention as well. He says,
Godspeed, Horse of Gale.
And he heads back to his throne.
So,
So do you think you can talk with one of these spirits, Dan? And get the information we need?
if I have a body, I can, if we can convince it we're allies, get some sort of information out of it. Yeah. Or I guess if we find a ghost, we could try to talk to it, but that's really out of my wheelhouse. What do you all think about this plan? I mean, I know it's just nuts, but
So far, I can't think of anything better. We're still not working with all the information we need. We now have a rough idea of where to find the right type of iron for this.
well,
I'll go see if Ice has got any more information for us. If he might be able to point us in the direction as well.
that's a good idea. I suppose we can rest and then go hunt for a dead smith.
I guess so.
Dan, have you tried contacting any of the crew?
I tried it. I don't know, it's hard to get through. It's like I don't know, like there's a barrier in between me and them. I could try again.
Just wish we knew a way to confirm that. Alright.
Me too. We're spending an awful lot of time doing this. I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna try another ascending spell.
Mm-hmm.
And try to get through.
Okay.
So sad.
So you concentrate for a minute, invoking the magics. I forgot last time. Did we go high or low for the 50%?
I don't remember. I just remember I rolled a D100 and then couldn't remember how a D100 works.
Okay, it doesn't really matter. We'll just say beforehand. So we'll say higher than 50 is a success.
Okay. And then the percentile dice is the 10s. And
Yes,
then the D10 is the ones.
so roll that one first, because that'll
just roll
determine.
first, okay.
Yeah, you really only need that one for this one, because...
That's a 40.
4, okay. So in this moment, you attempt again to use the spell to reach out to to your crew, and once again you feel something powerful and old and dark ward that projection of your mind and your thoughts, and sort of send it repelling, screaming back to you.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'll keep trying, but there's some kind of wall there. Not a nice one. Sleep then.
Yeah, we should get up our strength. Sounds like we've got a bit of a journey ahead of us.
Yeah.
Well, they go to rest. I'll go talk to Ice quickly and just fill him in on what we've learned.
Okay. So you make your way outside, glancing around. You see I think you see the tent where your father was born. You look over to where you saw your father in his disguised form. He's not there currently. You look over towards his tent. You can see the tent like slightly glowing from the inside, indicating he might be in there. You make your way over, pull open the flap, and you see him in there, sitting on the ground, continuing to carve the small statue, which it looks like he's beginning to finish it. Looks like the small statue of like a panther. And he looks up as you enter and says, "You're one of the few people that can sneak up on me. Come in." And as you enter, he motions for you to sit and says, "You've done some good work today. Your friends are more impressive than the stories have told. Wrestling the Bear King and winning. Would never have thought. I thought maybe she'd stall for long enough to earn his respect, but that was something else. And then defeating Red Sun. Also a feat in and of itself. I have to say, it's more than I expected."
He was an interesting one to fight. It sort of somehow made me older.
Yes. Their blades, Red Sun and his brothers, created long ago by an ancient witch that once stalked these wilds. Might have heard of her in legends, known as Baba Yaga. She was, of course, killed long ago by the Queen of Night, and such claimed her 3 most powerful servants for herself. You met Red Sun, and his brothers, Black Knight and Bright Day. Powerful entities, each one of them.
Probably going to encounter Red Sun again, definitely. If we go for what the plan is so far, we may end up having to tangle with all 3 to make things work.
Perhaps. I do know that each one of their blades is said to carry a powerful curse. Can steal the life force of a mortal. Deadly with magics and a blade, and their riding skills as well as unparalleled. There's a legend that says that only one can ride at any given time, and if all three were to ever be let loose, it would cease the end of this world as we know it. So, I'm sure such things are only legends. There's probably some sort of old magic that keeps them from manifesting at the same time. But you know how these legends go.
And if there's a grain of truth to that, we may find a way to bind them permanently wherever they dwell.
Perhaps. That would be something to consider. They are the most powerful weapons, or some of the most powerful weapons at my former lady's disposal. So, finding a way to deal with them would be rather impressive, considering that they, as far as I'm aware of, cannot be killed, but merely cast back to their former home, or wherever they are bound. I can follow up on this if you'd like. See if I can find any information.
That would help if there's anything that perhaps controls them, like I know some constructs are controlled, or whatever magics keep them from manifesting together.
Says, I'll consider this. I don't remember. I do know that when she was alive, at least as the legend said, the witch Baba Yaga held many powerful artifacts and items and enchanted bits and bobs. I don't know what happened to any of those when she was killed. Her hut, especially, was a powerful item that was rumored to have the ability to cross the plains themselves, so I imagine that is something that the Queen of Night would have kept. I'll see what I can find.
Thank you. We have plans now that are strange.
Do tell.
First, it seems we're going to try to find the spiritual body of one of the ancient smiths as a battleground. Seems apparently the best lead we have so far to find the knowledge on how to craft the weapons.
All right. So you're heading, if I understand what you're referring to, you're heading to the Echo Myers.
Apparently so.
Interesting. Well, be careful while you're there. It's a place that I have avoided during much time. Difficult land to travel, given its wetland or swamp-like nature. I don't know how to help beyond with this plan that you have, though, other than seeing what information I can gather.
At one point, we need to travel to Lion's Den. Apparently, that is where we will find the ore needed to forge the weapons.
That I might be able to help with.
Any information, an extra way in, locked doors, vaults, any of that information.
I do not know if, regarding any fortifications or weakness in the barriers that might still remain, you have to know that when I spent 10, 20 years in Sartia, much longer time passed here. So things have changed in some small way or another. I could perhaps travel ahead to Lion's Den if that is going to be your next destination. see if any contacts I have there still survive, see how much has changed since I was last there, scope it out for any weaknesses.
I'll propose that to everyone else if we can make our way there afterwards. I mean, I should blend in there pretty easily. I don't know about everyone else.
I would say you would have the best chance of blending in. You'll have to think on a disguise for the rest of them. Typically, the only people found within Lion's Den are either the backseat that have been taken there or born there, or their elven masters.
I'll have to think about it. If all I need to find myself in there is a way to get them inside the city walls. After that, navigating to get them where I need, so they're all where we need them.
Mm-hmm. Well, if your destination is the mines, I can offer a bit of insight there. When I was living in the Lion's Den, near the northern edge of the valley, beyond the lake, there was rumored to be a cave that was well protected and warded. We were told never to enter, and only the elite guards from Cather Solas maintained their vigil at its gates. From what I remembered, there was rumored to be a powerful creature locked inside, one made of fire and ice that was bound there, and we were told the guards were there for our protection so that the creature would never escape.
I wouldn't put it past them to put a creature like that within the mines.
You assume it's to protect this ore that you're seeking?
The guards are a first layer, but they're also a front. They probably have the means of controlling the creature to make sure it stays down in the depths. If anyone can make it past the guards, they can be assured the creature will find them.
As I said, I can scope out the guards and the fortifications they have there, see what trouble we might run into. I suppose if enough time has passed, many there might not recognize me. If I don't draw attention to myself, I should be able to slip in and out unnoticed. Something to think of. As you said, put it by your friends. I want to help in one way or another.
You are. Thank you.
It's the least I can do. I'm the one of the people that have caused this mess for our people. I want to fix it. Whatever that costs. Well, any other business we need to discuss, or?
One other thing you may be able to help with, there's apparently a special forge somewhere as well, lost to time.
I'm afraid I don't know much on forging or smithing.
It was a long shot. I'm hoping the spirits we find will be able to inform us of at least an idea.
It's probably your best bet, as when I spoke on or telling you of what I knew of these weapons, as the one I carry, the knowledge on how to create them was lost long ago. It's a smart idea, speaking with the dead. Likely the only ones that still hold that knowledge.
Well, we have our leads.
Well, a drink before you leave then?
Sure, yes.
He grabs a bottle of wine from behind him, one of the pillows, and uncorks it, and the two of you can have a few drinks, talk. I think he probably, I mean, I don't know what kind of conversation you'd probably have with him, or, you know, I'm sure it's probably a bit awkward, but he probably asked a lot about, you know, your childhood and what things are still like in Thousand Steps, and how you learned to do what you do, and wanted to learn a little bit more about his son. So let's say a few hours pass drinking, and before the two of you, or you retire to your tent and go your separate ways for the evening. Anybody else doing anything, or?
I'm just gonna check on Toad a bit.
Okay.
See how she's doing. I don't know.
Yeah, you check, and I think Sato, you were the one holding on to her, so
Yeah.
you passed Totobet back to Tova. She seems fine. Is still her toad self.
So there's like a river nearby. Maybe I could take her to the river.
You certainly can. You take her to the
Like,
water.
hang out for a while.
Yeah, you take her to the water and head towards it. And as you take her to the water, she sort of begins to like flounder a bit, not wanting to go into it. And I think at that moment you remember that she can't swim.
Even as a toad?
I mean, it's still her in there, so she doesn't think she can swim. She doesn't want to swim. But you put her by the water, and I think she sits there and like puts her little toad legs in it, and just like, I think like anthropomorphically like sits there like a person would, just sort of like kicking her feet in the water a bit.
Oh. We'll get you figured out.
Right, man. This is my new favorite NPC. But you get some quality time with Totobet, who seems fine. I mean, other than being stuck in this form and probably being a little bit as frustrated as she can come across, probably like not being able to help. She's just happy to be here with her friends.
Oh.
Anything else for the evening? Deb?
Is our little fairy still with us?
Yeah. He's been hanging out with he's been with the Yagla, I think, most of this time. Given that you guys have been getting into some rough stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna go like try to communicate with him a bit.
Yes.
Okay. You go and find him, and he's kind of by the tent, just sort of, or by the cages, sitting up near the front of this horseless wagon, just like sitting on the edge, kicking his feet a bit, and sees you and looks up, and actually he's sitting there with that pipe that you saw the ash from before, just like kind of puts it away and like snuffs it out.
I don't think that's good for you. You been okay? You having fun at the zoo? I wish you could talk to me. Do you have a name? I guess you couldn't tell me.
He sort of looks around for some inspiration and sort of says,
Oh god, is this gonna be a word game? Oh, you've come to the wrong place. Fish. Gills? You picked the one thing I know about. Gills. Gil? That's your name then. Gil. Alright. Hey, I've never won one of those before. Alright then, Gil. Well. That's a very loud chair you've got there. It's so small, but it's so loud.
One of the animals in the cage just behind him lets out a screeching noise. He sort of scampers at that a bit.
Oh.
Kind of flutters up behind your shoulder. Looks over at it.
It's alright. Well, I guess you're coming with us then, or do you want to go home? Do you live near here? I mean, a traveller. All right, well, guess you're stuck with me then. I'm gonna get some sleep. You don't have to sleep out here. You could come with us. Alright.
That comes along with you.
Oh, fairy friend. Okay, I go to sleep.
Okay. And Gil comes and like flies into the tent and finds a comfortable small place to sort of nestle in.
Wait, I make him have like a handkerchief or some like just a scrap of cloth.
Sure.
I make him a tiny little hammock.
Okay. You like
it-
tie between
pick it
kind of near the apex of the tent. You tie it between two of the little posts and tuck it in there, and he like flies up to it, sort of pushes down on it a bit, and hops into it. Folds his wings in, they kind of like fold over himself. And just sort of nestles in there. And after a little bit, like as you're like laying there about to go to sleep, you just see like a few little smoke rings like coming off the front. And he looks down, sees you like disappointing, and just like snuffs it up.
Alright, you do what you want.
He just gives the thumbs up over the side of his hammock.
Oh my gosh, I love him so much. Okay, I go to sleep.
Okay. You head off to a dreamless sleep. The rest of you going to rest as well, and making yourselves comfortable until the morning. Which, sun doesn't really pass, so it's, again, I think it's still something you guys have started to get used to, and it's just still kind of jarring to fall asleep with the sun up and get up with the sun up and light outside. Never really the sun, but it's perpetual, almost nap time. So you wake the next morning, and what would you all like to do?
Just talk to everyone quickly while we're at breakfast.
Okay, you all go into the longhouse and settle in for a breakfast, which is served to you by bears, as you are entertained by musical bears in the corner, all playing banjos and country music. If you don't get that reference, then shame on you. Are wearing overalls and hay in the corner of the mouth. Okay, I'm done with that.
Not a very good movie.
Excuse you, that is the very best movie.
Your puns are unbearable. Get on my level.
We're almost done with the bears. Okay, so
No, we're never
But
leaving.
I love Bjornheim.
We're gonna come back.
This is where we live now.
So you all settle in for breakfast. What would you like to do?
So I went to talk to my ice quickly, and he may have an idea of how to get us into the lion's den, but he needs to go check it out first. So I figured while we're going to talk to ghosts and spirits, after we're done with that, we head straight towards lion's den. We can find the ore we need, and then with the knowledge in the ore, we're 2 steps there.
Do you think? Are you sure we can trust Ice?
I hope so. I don't know, but he hasn't steered us wrong so far.
That's true. He did get us out of a bind.
I'm worried about this. He used to serve the Queen business.
There's a reason I didn't tell him the entirety of our current plans. If we keep him informed 1 step at a time, hopefully we can stay ahead if he ends up going to play informant.
That seems like a good idea.
But in Lion's Den, currently I'm the only one of us who could walk around there without suspicion, possibly Sadel as well. The rest of you, we may have a hard time pulling that off. To some extent, we could disguise Tover as an elf as well. For Lucius and you, then that's a different matter.
Yeah, we're sort of like blue and purple. Anyone good at disguises?
Depending on the city's defenses, they may be able to turn you invisible. Blue can turn himself invisible and lead you straight to where I need you.
It's not the worst idea, but I'm still gonna make a bit of noise.
I'll worry about covering that up. I think I have ideas.
Yeah, that's a little down the ways anyways, but it's good to be aware of, and maybe we'll come up with an idea along the way.
Yeah. So, wanna go find a dead guy?
Let's go find a dead guy.
I need more coffee.
All right. So you eat your breakfast for the day. So I think for the sake of this, is there anything you guys want to do or buy or anything while you're in the city? We'll probably go ahead and call it after that. I want to give you guys an opportunity if you want to get anything in Jornheim. If you guys want wagons or horses or supplies of any kind.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Horses and carts seem like a very good plan.
Well, how many emeralds do you guys have between your group at this point? Because I know
I have 149.
I've got 50.
Okay. Have you guys looked at the prize you got?
Oh no, we did not do that.
What's
Let's do
that?
that.
I just assumed at some point someone was going to say something, but
Whoops.
I think you totally forgot.
Yeah.
So
What's in the box?
as you guys are all at breakfast, you go and you look into the box and you open it. Inside is a very beautifully made set of armor. It's studded leather. It's leather armor. Studded leather armor. As Stark perks up, it has this beautiful sort of sheen to it, and it's like golden facets along the side. It's just this like very ostentatious set of studded leather armor, and it does appear magical.
Hey Sada, what does it do?
I want to see what it does.
Okay, you take a second, you sort of concentrate, looking at it and doing your mumbo jumbo. After casting your identify spell, you learn that this is +2 studded leather armor, and it specifically has another function, is glamored studded leather armor. What this means is that you can use your bonus action to speak the armor's command word, and cause the armor to assume the appearance of a normal set of clothing of some other kind of armor. You decide what it looks like, including color, style, and accessories, but the armor retains its normal bulk and weight.
Just gonna sleight of hand that out of there.
Where'd it go? Wow, you should.
You see like Star like drooling over this armor as he's staring at it.
You want to try it on, Star?
Yes. Not even hiding the fact this is exactly what I need.
You can certainly try it on, and you take it. And it is beautiful. It looks elven made. Looks like something it looks pretty old. Like it was definitely something that a Fey lord or lady would probably have held on to at some time, or worn it sometime. You take it and you put it on. I don't think it does not require attunement. If I am correct in thinking so. I'll check on that. I don't think it does though. And as you kind of put it on, you chance to see if it fits. After wearing it for a bit, it does sort of mold itself to your sleek tabaxi form.
That's cool.
Do you make it take any sort of shape or appearance at that time?
I want to make it look exactly like Den's armor.
Okay, and I think you're looking at Star, and he's wearing this leather armor with the little like that's of gold on it, and then suddenly it is like full plate armor with the little rabbit symbol on the side, and he's just like this bulky set of armor, which looks ridiculous on Star considering everything you've ever seen him wear.
You look ridiculous. I punch him to see if it's actually plate.
You punch through it. You kind of feel the Star as she connects right in kind of your gut. I don't know, not hard enough to like hurt, but definitely kind of catches the wind out of you. It goes past through the armor, and you feel the pad of leather underneath.
It's still squishy. I poke him.
But this solves our answer of you making noise while invisible.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So you do have that. That was a loot drop provided to us by I forget who, but yes, thank you for that.
Thanks. You.
It was either Kitty, Joseph, or G. I don't know who it was because I didn't write it down, and I feel bad about that. I will look it up later and provide real thanks for that.
I'll edit it in
I think it was
post.
Kitty. Huh?
Said I'll edit it in post.
Yeah.
Thanks for the loot drop.
I'm looking through the previous. Okay, only 3 loot drops have been posted 16 days ago. That's probably about right. I think it was Kitty. Sorry, I'm bad at.
Sounds so like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely.
So confident.
Sorry, got a lot of stuff in my notes, and your name didn't make it in there. But bad. So
Just making it worse, Sean.
I know. No, I do see we did have the redemption 7 days ago from Kitty, so I think it was. Thank you, Kitty. Anyway, so you have your armor. Anything else you guys wanted to buy while you're in town? Because you got a lot of emeralds if you want.
Yeah. Is there anything?
Was there anywhere that seemed like they sold like magical items, like potions and things?
As far as like potion makers, you could probably find somebody in town that would provide you or be able to sell some potions to you. Yeah. I'd say you can find, there's probably some trader that has passed through town along with, coming in for the carnival especially, that could sell some potions to you. Are there any kind specifically you're just looking for general healing potions?
Yeah. I don't know if there's any.
Hmm.
If there's any other kinds we should know?
I mean, unless you guys were looking at potions of resistance or something else like that. Those are probably the most common ones that you'd find in a general sort of alchemist or apothecary. Something like a resistance potion or a healing potion or poisons.
Just some healing potions.
Okay. We'll say they don't have any NPCs ready for this. I'll just let you guys do this the simple way. That doesn't involve a performance. You can buy, they probably have 4 regular healing potions and 2 greater healing potions. And I'll say 1 superior healing potion. And now I have to work out the conversion of emeralds for purchasing.
It's like
item.
5.
I'd say a regular healing potion is going to cost you 2 emeralds apiece.
Okay.
A greater healing potion costs you 10 emeralds. A superior healing potion is going to cost you 25 emeralds.
Okay. Should we just buy all of them, guys? Because I remember him saying that emeralds are only in this city, right?
Yeah, but if we take them back with us.
Now, I want you to, these emeralds, each a piece, equate to about like 100 gold pieces.
Okay. You have 149.
Yes.
I have 50. I feel like Freeman said his went into the party fund.
You have to ask Freeman about that. I
feel
don't
like
remember.
he said party fund. I'm not trying to be funny.
I'm gonna trust you with that. He also had 100 emeralds.
I will
too.
I will ask Ryan, and if it's not true, I'll give him back.
Yeah. No, he probably said that.
Thanks, Freeman. You're the best. And he also had 100.
Yeah, you guys had like 200 and you had also had 299. Okay.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
299.
Which in gold is
So much.
like 20,000 around there, gold pieces.
We have spent so much of our money. Okay, does anybody have any healing potions? Because I already have one.
I don't have it.
I have a greater.
I have one on me, actually. The things I find on the rare occasions I have to look at my inventory.
Right. I have a greater.
I've still got that scroll of chain lightning and the scroll of flying as well.
I have a scroll too. Haven't used it.
Yeah, I've got a greater healing potion on me.
Sadel, do you have any? You should have some.
So if you're gonna
And Toby
buy
should have
all,
some.
if you're gonna buy all of them, what I say it was 4,
Said
2, and 1.
You said. Oh, the
4
amount.
regular.
Yes.
Yeah, it was 4 regular, 2 greater. So that would be 8 plus 20, so 28 plus another 25, so 53 emeralds total to buy out the batch.
What do you guys think? Do we need all of them? If we get out of here alive, we're gonna be so rich. Because I got lots of spell slots at this point. So,
I say we get some, at least. Just in case. You don't want to use all your spell slots for healing, though.
we should definitely get the graders, I think.
Yeah, let's get the greater ones.
Okay.
Let's buy
That would
all.
be 20 emeralds.
Okay, I'll mark that off of mine.
That is
Listen,
so
this is a much
gold.
easier way to do gold. I might just convert this like emerald system into all of my games now. This is so much better than gold.
Just use gold. Just say it's 1 gold. It's 2 gold.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys. So now everyone has a greater healing potion.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I
So you
actually-
guys.
Sorry.
So go ahead.
If we're done with potions, I have a question. But
Yeah, I was going to ask. My next question was going to be if anybody else has anything else they want to.
I have a question.
Sure.
So different. I like vaguely remember this from our last one, but so different places use like different gemstones as currency, and like here it's emeralds, like somewhere else it's diamonds, that kind of thing. That's a thing.
Yeah, it's emeralds from Bjornheim, sapphires for Uphain, diamonds for Cather Solas, and pearls for the Shadow Desolation. Of
Okay.
the
So
Emperor
like
Citadel.
diamonds wouldn't be worth as much here.
No, each country's currency is going to be worth more in their respective country.
Okay. Is there a bank here? Is there like... Can I do like a currency conversion?
If you want to like convert some of
Could
your,
I like trade... Could I find somebody to like trade a couple of emeralds for like diamonds?
you could probably find somebody that might have some diamonds that they're willing to.
I try to do that. I'm gonna do an experiment.
Okay. I'm just gonna have you roll a general persuasion check.
Oh, good. I'm good at those. $14?
It's not bad. How many diamonds are you looking to get?
Uh, I really want to find somebody who will tell me, like, if I gave them, like, this emerald, like, how many diamonds would they give me?
Okay.
Is that something
Here's what I'll
somebody
say.
will, like, tell me?
It depends on who you ask and how much they need each one. Somebody who has diamonds that is looking to stay in Bjornheim is going to be doing more trade here. It's going to want the emeralds. So is probably willing to do like a straight 1-for-1 trade with you.
Is there, like, a new construction? Like, is there, like, a neighborhood of townhouses or, like, new families have just moved in or something? Like,
No, there isn't really. Bjornheim hasn't really been gentrified yet by the elfin nobility.
okay. Can I find, like an established shopkeeper?
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
that's
Here's
gonna,
what I'll
like,
say.
mostly do business in emeralds?
To cut down on again, I'll just do it this way because to cut down on just the grind of all of this.
I need diamonds for things.
I'm going to let you do the trade, except it's going to be for its monetary conversion. So the diamonds themselves, when you see little tokens, they're very similar to the emeralds. The diamonds are actually worth 500 gold pieces each, instead of what the emeralds worth 100. So somebody's willing to do a 5-for-1 trade with you. So 5 emeralds for 1 diamond.
Okay. I'm gonna do that. I
Okay.
want to trade for an extra diamond.
Sure.
So I guess 95 emeralds.
So you just want one diamond?
Hold on. Hold please.
This is riveting, guys. Thank you everyone for sticking with us as we do our go to the bank.
You have to do it at some point.
I know. I'll do 2. I want 2. They're worth 500.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll give them 10 emeralds.
Okay. 10 emeralds and get 2 diamonds.
Okay. Okay, that's all I
right.
wanted. Thank you. I didn't mean to make it so complicated.
No, it's not your fault. I was just teasing you. Okay. So you have that. Anything else that anybody wants to do or buy or say or ask?
I mean, before we leave, I want to say goodbye to Yagla.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that as you guys leave, so that's a good one. As you guys are all packing things together and you get your supplies and you are about to head out, you make your way past Iagla, who's still giving kind of a little bit of performance, or it's winding down, and he puts on hold and tells the audience, and says, "Now, don't get too close to the I forgot his voice. Don't get too close to the stage here, but you can all come. Keep a good distance. I have some business to take care of, but I'll be right back to wow you more with the tales of these creatures coming from the dark lands beyond." And he kind of leaves them to gawk at the creatures in the wagons and comes over and says, "Are you leaving?"
Yes, we're heading west, and we've got an idea of what we're doing.
Well, I've enjoyed meeting all of you. I hope you come back soon. It definitely has been nice having some friendly faces here. But if you need any help with anything or need anything further, feel free to ask after me. I do hope we see each other again.
Are you heading to another city after this?
I imagine I'll stay here while the crowds filter out for a bit. Been pretty successful here so far. I'll probably make my way north in the next few days. Perhaps make my way up to Arbhain and give some performances there.
Well, thank you for all your help.
Of course. It's been a pleasure meeting all of you, and I don't meet many strangers from outside these lands, and it's always good to get a fresh perspective on things. But I've enjoyed your company, and as I said, if we cross paths in the future, perhaps share another drink and provide each other with some company once again. Until then, and he gives sort of a deep bow towards all of you with a flourish to it and stands up. He says, "I wish you all the best of luck in your endeavors. I have a suspicion you're going to need it."
Thank you. Same to you. Stay out of that forest.
He gives a laugh and he says,
I don't imagine that I'll be heading that way anytime soon. I don't wish to tangle with the dryads again. I should be safe as long as I keep to the main roads for a while. I think my latest attractions will probably suit me well enough for the time being before I let them go to do their own business.
I think he gives what you presume to be probably a smile underneath the mask, and says, "What? Until we meet again, safe travels." And he heads back to his tent or his attraction.
Gonna miss that guy.
Yeah, he's very interesting. I'm glad he keeps the mask on.
I don't know, I thought it was kind of cool.
To me teeth.
All right. As you all gather yourselves and head out of the gates of Bjorn, did you guys want to get a wagon or anything, or are you guys just going on foot? Somebody said, and then somebody's like, that was a good idea, and then nobody talked about it again.
I
So
think we-
Then you all went to go do everything else.
I went to the bank. I was there for 3 days.
do you guys want, as you're going to take that last step, we get the cut screen, like, are you ready to leave Bjornheim? Is there anything else that
You
you
will
wanted
lose
to do?
access to other quests when you leave the area.
Yeah.
We want horses.
Horses?
Do we also want to get a wagon?
We probably
Well,
do.
considering we want to, like, transport some iron ore places.
Don't we have a bag of holding?
You
we
do,
just
but it's not
put it in the
infinite.
bag? Well, we don't have that much stuff in there. It's just like a lot of crossbow bolts and a couple of hats.
Yeah. If you're looking for enough to transport enough ore to arm an army, I mean, one wagon probably wouldn't be enough for that anyway. But you probably want to go more the wagon route than the bag of holding, or maybe a combination of the two. A wagon of holding.
Oh, that's a good idea. Sato, can you make a wagon of holding?
I don't. I think that's a little bit out of my.
Level
Oh,
11.
yeah,
Level
that's
11, you can do it.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
The legendary wagon of holding is
Wagon
a
of holding.
is a
Oh, yeah.
ability or a forging. I can't think. An enchanting technique that's been lost to time. If you want a wagon with 2 horses to draw it, I'd put that at about, I'd say, 5 emeralds.
Oh yeah, we totally should then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Is it a
sure.
used wagon?
I mean, again, bear in mind that's like 5,000 gold pieces.
Wait.
Or 500 gold pieces.
I was really
Sorry.
confused.
Can't do math. It's
Really
like 500
confused.
gold pieces.
Just
Yeah.
roll in the middle.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Freeman's got it. Freeman will pay for it.
Which Freeman's
It's all
staying,
on Freeman's.
by the way.
Oh, yeah, Freeman stayed here.
But he gives you his money and buys you guys a wagon.
We'll come back for you. Promise.
Says, please do. He looks around and he says, I don't know about. I like bears, but it's hard to bear them for much time. Get it? It's a pun.
That was really good, Freeman.
That was a good,
Good.
one.
That's good. Next time we'll move on to sarcasm.
Yes. Next time we work on sarcasm,
Alright.
whatever that is.
We'll be back
Okay.
with weapons.
Weapons are good. So you saddle up onto your wagon, which is simple. It's big enough for most of you to sit in the back, except for Didar. Just kind of runs alongside. And you all head
Who's driving?
out. Toby's driving.
Okay, great.
I got this.
And you head out of Bjornheim, following the road west towards the Starlight Mountains beyond, these tall spires glistening in the twilight sun. And that is where we will go ahead and end our session here for tonight. We'll pick up next week to see how that unfolds. Thank you, everyone, for watching, listening, enjoying. Go ahead and do some recap our announcements from before for any of you that weren't around when we were doing them. We have a giveaway going, our GGK grand giveaway. We are giving away a copy of Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes later on this month. I think on the 20-something. The details on that are on our Twitter. So we are vague and fallible and don't remember when things are or who purchases loot drops. But Twitter remembers.
Twitter
so
is
head over.
forever.
Twitter's forever. So head over there and you can find out all the details of our giveaway. We currently hit our tier to give away a set of, we're giving away the book. We're also going to be giving away some stickers, some fantastic GGK stickers to all of our...
I got one.
Oh, awesome. Yep. There we go. Awesome die-cut GGK stickers that we give away to you. If we hit our next threshold at 200 Twitch subscribers or followers, we will be giving away some dice as well. But again, details of that on our Twitter page. As always, if you missed anything in the last week, look on our YouTube, youtube.com/GameKnights, 2 G's and a K. We have Wild Space on Monday, and we will have Apocrypha the Monday after that, and Tidefall, not this Thursday, but next Thursday. If you missed it, that will be up on YouTube later this week. I think that's it. I don't really have any other announcements. No? Anybody? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Come back next time. And until next time, good game and good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.
Good night, Internet.